Sarah Palin is back, appearing on the cover of the latest Newsweek. Palin declaring, quote, "I can win a national election," although she says she still has not made up her mind about running in 2012. Now, Palin says the GOP field is wide open for candidates like herself, Texas Governor Rick Perry, who's considering a White House run, and New Jersey Governor Chris Christie, who has repeatedly said, "No, I'm not running." Palin also spends part of the interview defending her record as Alaska's corruption-fighting governor, asking, "Do people not understand why McCain picked me?" All right. Palin's Newsweek interview comes as a new film about her goes national. The Undefeated is a glowing review of her tenure as Alaska's governor.
90 days of Governor Palin's administration were insane. We worked like dogs, 7 days a week, 15-hour days.
Unlike many states, the governor in the state of Alaska is a CEO for the state. When the Constitution was written...
All right, we are now joined by Steve Bannon. He's a director of The Undefeated. So, Steve, just between you and me, forget everybody else. Is she going to run in 2012?
I don't know. I don't have any other insights than anybody else. I think she did, definitely. Her PAC reached out to me last year to make some short vignettes, which I turned down. I wanted to do a feature film. I think the governor was very concerned about taking control of her narrative and reminding people why those Gallup polls in August of 2008 were at 88%. No, she was the highest-ranked governor I think Gallup ever had as a sitting governor, and I think she wanted that story to get out, and I think it's getting out now.
What do you think she's thinking right now? I mean, with this Newsweek article that came out, says, "I can win if I were to run, but I'm not at the moment." What do you think she's thinking?
Well, I'm not inside her head, and I'm not inside her decision about how she's going to make decisions. She said it's going to be her family and through prayer, etc. But I think that Governor Palin either is going to be a candidate in this primary, or she definitely wants her voice and her spirit of what she stands for. That's what we call the values of the undefeated, these Tea Party values, which in your previous story on the negotiations down in Washington today, you can see the influence of the Tea Party movement on those negotiations. I think she wants that voice.
Senator Pat Toomey and others, for instance, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
In the 70 House, in the 70 House, 63 House guys that won this time. I think the Tea Party's had a tremendous influence on this, on the budget negotiations. I think she definitely wants to make sure that influence stays.
Steve, what did you learn about Sarah Palin that others didn't? Obviously, most of it's in the movie. Whatever you learned, you put in there. But what did you learn that others may not know about her?
Well, I think people have started to notice this. The constancy. She's always had a handful of values about infrastructure, about the basic, what government should be for. The one thing, she was portrayed as a bimbo and an ideologue. And I think in Peter Boyer's Newsweek article, as you go through her record and see the film, you realize that she's incredibly intelligent, a very combative but engaged executive. And she really brought people together. Those 88% approval ratings was because she brought independents, Democrats, libertarians together to back her program. So the reality is exactly opposite of what the meme is.
But the critics are saying, since you did bring them up, that she does not have the wherewithal, does not have the intelligence, does not have the experience to run the country, and that if she were to run for president and win, it would not be a good situation. Do you believe she could run the country?
Richard, I don't think there's any doubt. I think if you look at the empirical evidence of what she accomplished in her time in Alaska, if you look at the empirical evidence of really what she did as kind of one of the spiritual heads of the Tea Party movement for that great victory last November, this is a woman of extraordinary accomplishment and really understands how executives have to make change in big organizations. I don't think there's any doubt if you compare her to Governor Romney or Governor Pawlenty that she matches up pound for pound for the other contenders for the Republican nomination.
Steve, we got to go,
yes,
but what surprised you?
What surprised me was her humility. That when we went back, the only time that we really found that she ever talked about her record was the day she resigned. I mean, she's